Hi folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. We have here, remember, the 1973 with the blown head gasket and the bad seal on the gearbox. We've got parts, we're going to start putting her back together. Everything else looks pretty good on this engine. First thing we're going to do is put the head gasket on, and we're going to also fix the spark plug holes with helicoils. To show you how to do that. And we're going to check compression. We got compression. We're going to put that gearbox back on with a new seal in the gearbox, and we're going to see if it'll run. Let's get back at her right now. Now, as you recall in the last video, we tapped these threads out with this special tap. The spark plug thread repair kit I got from Napa. I don't remember the part number on it, but it comes with the tap, the swaging tool, and 3 inserts. Well, I was out of this insert that I needed. This is the insert I'm currently going to use because that's the right one. We're going to go ahead and open one up. And you're going to see where there's a little bit of a knurl up on the top here. This isn't the spark plug for this. Let me get the right spark plug. This is the right spark plug. We're going to go ahead and thread that on there. Oh, that's not the right one. Let's do this one. There we go. Now, as you can see, that sits like exactly where it's supposed to sit. So we're going to use this as an installation tool. It's easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and spray this clean to make sure there's no grease or grit on it. And I'm just going to use a little bit of carb cleaner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to liberally place red Loctite. Well, this is actually a Permatex thread locker. All over this. I want it to be well coated. And then we should be able to screw this right in. And I'm just going to take my little crescent wrench here. Give it a little snug. That's good and tight there. Then I'm going to back it off. Alrighty. That one didn't go as well as it should have. But I also forgot that I usually put a generous amount of Never Seez on the spark plug to keep it from sticking. So you got that like that. We're going to head and put a generous amount of perma thread. We want to get this all down through the thread so it's all the way through. Because this is locking it in place and also acts as a sealant. Let's try this one again now. Let's screw this one in. Bottom it out. Back it off. There you go. Now that came out. That Loctite sets up relatively quick. Now I'm going to come over here to the bench where I've got a nice sturdy surface and a nice flat surface. We're going to take this little setting punch, go right down in there and give this thing a few love taps. What that does is flare that little bit of knurl out and bites into that head. Now you can see we got Loctite everywhere. Gotta clean that up. So we'll just wipe off that. You can see how it's already congealed and set up. Go ahead and seal this back off. Wipe all this out of the head. Next thing I did is took a Q-tip with some brake cleaner on it and just went around here and washed some threads out. But we're good to go. That head is repaired. I like that. Those threads will last a long, long time now. Provided somebody doesn't over tighten it. Somebody can still over tighten it and wreck it. There's always people that can do that. We've cleaned this off, scraped it with my gasket scraper. Got any of the little fines off with with my Dremel, or it's a die grinder with a brass wire brush on it. Everything is clean and sparkly and beautiful. Just the way we likes it. The next thing we want to do is just take your new gasket. Make sure it matches your old gasket. See where it says do not use sealer? There's a reason for that. We've actually cleaned up all of our bolts. This fits on like that. Now these bottom two bolts we got to put in with the head, but we're also going to put some anti-seize on here, because when you're torquing these bolts down, you don't want it to have friction in the thread giving you a false torque. You want this to be so it moves in freely. So the torque is the torque is the torque. So we've got the two bottom bolts and the head gasket. We'll go ahead and slide that down in here. And we'll get those two bolts started. Nothing sweeter than something going back together, I'll tell you that. Okay, we got those started. Let's go ahead and put the rest of them in. A little thread lube on every one of them. Now the problem we have with the two bottom bolts is I cannot get my torque wrench on them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a feel when I'm torquing these other ones down, get a good feel for it, and then I can go in here and get the same feel for that. Because what I can do is I got a pull handle that's similar in length, and I can tell how much pressure I'm putting on it. It's just, that's all I can do. There's not much else I can do. Now, in order to torque these down, we're going to go in a pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going in a circular pattern, working your way out, with this being number 1. And you want to start off, I'm going to start off with 123 inch-pounds. Now I've got an old analog, if you will, torque wrench. And I'm going to just start torquing those down, starting here. So we're going to go up to 125 here, basically. That's 125. And get about an idea how much pressure I'm putting on that. There we go. Now we're going to go to 200, and keep in mind this is inch pounds, not foot pounds. All right, so it's 18 to 20 foot pounds, I believe, or about 123 to 238 inch pounds. Let's go back through this one more time, and we're going to go to 238 now. At 110. All right, we've got the head torqued, we got the spark plugs in, we've got the coils back on. We do have good spark, I checked that. Now we gotta put a new thermostat in. I cleaned all this up last go round, so everything's ready. Here's the old thermostat here. Here's the brand new one. Our new gasket and our new, not new bolts, but we'll see if that seals off. If that doesn't seal off, we'll put a little gasket shellac on it, but I always like to give the gasket to try to work first. I'd much rather see the gasket alone than the gasket shellac. Well, with the thermostat in place, all I gotta do is on the front here, there's a kill switch that is not in place. I have one of these that I buy from my good folks at Napa, part number 786108, that we will be installing right here in this here hole. Now let's go over here and put this gearbox back together. Now this had two seals in it. One facing this way, or this way, one facing this way. I have a sneaky suspicion that somebody, somewhere down in the history of time, had put two of these in here for some reason. I don't know why. I'm only going to put one back in the right way. We've assembled the top of the gearbox. I've also got my shift shaft connector here. It's going to be easier to put it on here to stick it back in to reinstall it. Normally you just undo this bolt and pull this out, but I had a little trouble getting this out. I've cleaned it all up now, installed smoothly and easily. We've got the end of the drive shaft greased and ready to go with its O-ring on it. Like I said, water pump impellers back on, new rubber piece here. It's time to top it off with some oil. All right, with the gearbox squared away, let's go ahead and put this prop back on. And like this one didn't have, I'm going to put some grease back on. I'm pretty sure it didn't have any on it. Pretty dry, but it wasn't stuck at least. All right, the moment of truth. I haven't done anything to the carburetor on this, so we're choked, we're primed. Now keep in mind we have 110 pounds of compression now. We have sealed up spark plug holes, we got a good head gasket, we got a good thermostat, we got a spark. All that's left is fuel. Let's see what it does. Well, we got her running, but she seems to have that cough. And last time I had a cough like that, it was because this Lincoln sink wasn't quite where it needed to be. It seems to like a lot more fuel when it's down on the idle, and it doesn't seem like this knob is having any impact on things. So it might be worthwhile pulling this carburetor apart, but I also want to do, I think there's a little adjustment needed here. I know that this adjustment can be very sensitive. As you can see, when you have the choke out, you're actually giving it a little more throttle at that same position, and that's when it really pops and goes. And I have a feeling it's just a little too lean. And I think we need to have this, need to have this throttle a little more advanced. We're going to play around with that for a moment. running good now. A lot quieter with the cover on. Gotta like that. Alrighty. Well, folks, that's another success story. We're going to retorque these heads, but I want to warm this up and cool it down a couple more times. And then they're supposed to retorque those heads in the same sequence to, what was it, 226 inch-pounds. I think it's anywhere from 18 to 24 foot-pounds from what 18 to 20. 18 to 24. Anyway, I'm going to 225 inch-pounds in the sequence that I showed you. This seems to run pretty good. I don't have any issue with taking this out on the lake and running it on a boat and seeing how it really does on the boat. This link and sync is on these things. I don't know if you call it link and sync, but this linkage between the throttle valve and the ramp and your timing advance and all that stuff, it's sensitive. As you saw when I first started up, it's coughing. I couldn't get rid of the cough. Next thing you know, I got it a little bit closer. I almost want to play with it some more, but it's like one of those things when you get it, don't mess with it. It seems to run okay. We'll see how it cold starts. I pulled this little linkage off right now for now because I wanted to get this adjusted where I wanted it. But this has been replaced by somebody looks like a piece of coat hanger. Now, granted, that probably works okay. It was getting the job done, but it's bent to the point where it doesn't move freely, and it puts a bind on these plastic parts, and you can break them. Here, for example, I do have a broken one, and that's what I want to tell you guys about my other channel. It's called RM3D Creations. It's similar to my RMD Creations, but it's RM3D Creations, and it's about 3D printing. And my goal behind the 3D printing is I want to reproduce some of these hard to find, hard to get plastic parts. These broken choke knobs, these regular turn knobs that are hard to get a hold of, or they're just, these older 70s models and stuff like that. They just don't make them anymore, and you can find them online, like on eBay, if somebody's parting out one of these motors. But the bad part about it, that plastic is still 45 to 50 years old as well. I'm going to create some brand new ones and eventually offer them up to you guys to buy if you need them for a way more reasonable price than what you can get online when you do find them. And I'll have them available. But piece by piece, as I come across these broken parts, I'll reverse engineer them, create them, test them, make sure I've got something worthwhile to sell somebody. I don't want to sell somebody something that ain't going to work. And chances are I'm going to make it a little bit better. It's just like the choke lever here. I think there's a stronger way to make that choke lever so it don't break as easily. But we're going to run this thing a few more times over the next few days. I'll start it up cold, let it run, warm up, cool down, start it up, let it warm up, cool down. I'm going to get next thing I want to purchase is a thermal gun, because I want to be able to shoot that head to see what kind of temperature we're running. I think the thermostat's for 143. If you touch this, it feels like, oh, that's hot, but 143 is hot. Basically, most of your hot water heaters are set at 140. If you can't put your hand under scalding hot water. So that's within range, but this seems to be running pretty good. You can sit there and rest your hand on it for a little bit, It's not ice cold, but you don't want it ice cold. Anyway, that's where I'm heading with my other channel, is some of these plastic parts. I encourage you guys to go over there. A lot of you have gone over there. If you go over there, please subscribe. I would appreciate that a bunch. I think we got another success story here, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now this, I'm going on and on for this one particular guy that unsubscribed to me that says I can go on and on and on and on about absolutely mundane shit. I had to laugh. My comment back to him was, thank you for watching. Glad you hung in while you did. Oh well. Can't make them all happy, folks. I guarantee you that. There ain't no way that's going to happen. So all we got left on this bad boy here is a little bit of cosmetic. The rope seems to be in pretty fair condition. The pull handle, it's kind of cheesy. I want to replace that pull handle. I'm going to replace a couple of these carburetor parts. I'm going to replace the wiring on the kill switch. I did put a new kill switch in here. Not one from the OEM. Nobody can afford that. It's like $80 or $90 for a kill switch. I showed you the one I put in here. It's like $12 from Napa. And, you know, I can replace a lot of $12 kill switches for $90. You guys do the math. I'm not going to do the math for you. Anyway, we got new fuel line on here. It's, I almost, this thing's pretty rock solid. And it's funny, you guys know more about some of this stuff than I do. This blue tiller handle and the blue gearbox on here, somebody had made a comment about that's off an Evinrude, and that's probably right, because all these Evinrudes are that shade of blue. So somebody had busted the handle at one time, somebody was taking the gearbox out at one time, something's happened here and there. But it is one piece and it's a runner, and I'd be proud to have this on my boat. I can't wait to stick this on the C-nymph next spring and just open her up. I love running, you know, 20, 25 miles an hour with that little C-nymph. It's just a fun little ride. I don't know why 25 miles an hour on the water feels like you're doing 100, but it's just fun. And it's an enjoyable cruise. You guys, appreciate you hanging in there with me. We got this bad boy running. You can stumble onto something like this. You can see these, if you were to take this to a shop, you know how much they would have charged you? They'd have bought a new head. I don't know if they had a helicoil in the head. I don't work at a marina like that. I don't know. I'm not a 20-year veteran mechanic on outboards, but I know how to fix them, and I fixed that. And that's a damn good fix. You can take that to the bank. But we got the old plugs fixed. We got the head fixed. We got the thermostat in, and new fuel line. New seal in the gearbox, pressure tested the gearbox, it's good, new oil in the gearbox. And if you were to take that to a dealer, a marina, that'd cost you a small arm and a leg, more than this motor's worth. And they're right, it would have cost you more than this motor's worth to do all that work. But that's where you guys can learn from what I'm doing and go pick up one of these motors. I paid $200 for this. I've got, it's like a $22 head gasket, I think. Thermostat, 40 plugs, helicoils, 70. I probably got 80 bucks in this, 80 or 90 bucks. So call it less than $300. I got me a 20 horse Tiller Steer Johnson, 1973. 20 horse, man, that thing runs. And you saw how it ran. And this thing will take you fishing on a river, on a lake, on a pond, wherever you want to go. That allows a 20 horse outboard. Anyway, they don't get any cheaper than that. And this thing, now that we've got it, and we're going to take care of it from here on out. If I sell it to somebody, I'm going to tell them some of the things to do to make it last for them. It's easy to do. It's just got to do it. That's all you got to do. You just got to do it. Well, folks, you guys get out there and have some fun. Check out my other channel. I've got 3 videos out there so far. I bought a brand new 3D printer. See what's going on the other side of what I do. And we'll be back here with another motor. We got several other ones we got to get back together, just like this one here. Like I said, I'm going to do some tidying up here. This one's done. I'm not going to waste any more of your time watching that. If you're still here, got some drone footage coming up for you. It's probably with an 18 horse or 25 horse or something like that on the C-nymph. It's just fun to watch. I can sit there and watch that drone footage for a while because nothing worse. I got snow on the ground out here. It's 18 degrees outside. And I'd love to be on a lake, but I can't. So I watched some drone footage. I told my son not too long ago, we're going to get a heck of a lot more drone footage this coming year. That's all there is to it. You guys get out there, have some fun. This is Michael, and I'm out.